at the sink.
I made these for you. They're not great.
What are they?
They're supposed to be angel wing earrings.
Mm-hmm.
I think the colors that they described in the documentation were not the same colors that I had.
Yeah.
So here's these. You can show them off. They look okay.
They don't look bad though.
Like from a distance, they look good, but up close, you're like, But I think they'd.
If you keep making me earrings, we're gonna have to go to Michael's to buy the hooks for them because like.
Why? Just change out the old ones. Also, what do you mean keep making you earrings? Those are like the first ones.
No, you gave me a pair of like snowflake earrings.
Those were trash though. Don't wear those. No one would be proud of those.
They're cute though.
I printed out a grenade this week. It's nice and fun.
He's been printing out a lot.
You can pull the pin on it, and then it goes bing, and
It
flies
does
off,
not blow up though.
regrettably. But whatever. What do I know? What do you know?
I know that it's another episode of Mindless Prattle.
Which episode is it? It's the St. Patrick's Day episode.
6?
You right. That's why I wore green. You're getting pinched later because it's St. Patrick's
I
Day.
have green eyes and red hair. I'm good.
Yeah, that's not by choice though. Well, at least the
Kind
eyes
of by
aren't.
choice.
Over here, serial killing people, be like, give me them eyes.
I was born with red hair and it darkened, and I've spent my entire life trying to get back to it.
So, I'm gonna skip over the intro.
Okay, this is the intro. Goodbye.
No, you're welcome though. That was the ouch. All right, whatever. The other day, my coworker comes up to me, right, and her and her wife both work for me. So, one of them comes up and she goes, "Sir, do you know the difference between lettuce and cabbage?" And I was like, "Yeah, why?" She's like, "Oh, well, my wife doesn't." And I look over because we're all having lunch and her wife's sitting there. And I was like, "Okay, so you bought cabbage instead of lettuce?" She's like, "Yeah, I thought it was a weird weight." And I was like, "Where were you at? Like, didn't you just notice the difference?" She goes, "No, I was at Sam's Club and the cabbage was not next to the lettuce." I'm like, who in their right fucking mind buys cabbage instead of lettuce? I'm like, just read it. That's crazy. And then literally like 2 hours later, Ripley texts me. He's like, "Hey, do you like cabbage?" And I was like, "In coleslaw, I guess. Why?" And she's like, "I bought cabbage instead of lettuce." And I was like, "Bro, there ain't no fucking way that you did the same shit my coworker did." Like I gave her so much shit for buying cabbage instead of lettuce. And then you text me like 2 hours later, "Hey, I bought cabbage by accident."
Yeah, no, and it's actually the same exact story almost.
Like, what the fuck?
It was right next to the lettuce. I picked it up and I was like, shit, this lettuce is heavy. Like,
Oh
why
my
is this
God.
lettuce so heavy? But I was like, whatever. Maybe it's just a good head of lettuce, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then I got home and I was like, cabbage?
Side note.
I've never bought cabbage in my life.
Just a side note. We already had lettuce.
Yeah, we
You
had
asked me
lettuce.
to buy it for you last week. That's when I bought it for you.
I'll have
So
to
I
have a
went
salad
over.
today.
I went over to her and I was like, "I gotta apologize." She's like, "What happened?" And I showed her the message from you, and she goes, "See, I told you it wasn't just me." And I was like, "No, it's
We're
both
connected.
of you." Like, shut the.
That's so fucking funny. I did not know
Yeah,
that's
it's
why
like-
you were like reacting that way.
Yeah, I was like, "Brother, ain't no fucking way you did the
It was
same
so funny.
thing." I'm like,
I thought I was doing a great job shopping, getting sandwich stuff.
yep.
I was like, "You
yep.
like lettuce? I'll get you some lettuce for your sandwich."
If you're gonna buy like deli meat, like sandwich meat, you need to buy more of it at a time. You keep buying like a half pound, and I use like a quarter pound in sandwich, so I really only
Yeah.
got like 2 sandwiches
It's
of
just
meat over there.
like we can get the shitty meat, but like the deli meat is just so expensive. Yeah.
Was there an end to that sentence? It just kind of trailed off there.
Yeah, that's the whole sentence. It's just the deli meat's expensive, so buying more, I'm like, ugh.
But you keep buying more at that same price, just in smaller intervals.
Like
If you bought a half pound and then a half pound, then a half pound, or if you bought a pound and a half, it's the same money.
if I get them to shave it for me, like, do you think it'd come out cheaper?
No, it's the same price per pound. You're just afraid of talking to people, so you get the prepackaged stuff, which is only like a half pound, instead of going up and saying, "Hey, can I get a pound and a half of turkey?" And then they go, "Okay," and then shave it for you and give it to you packaged up with that
Yeah.
same price.
Yeah, okay.
It's crazy. Now you got to be careful though, because I know you'll just go, "Can I get turkey?" And they'll be like, "What kind?" And you'll be like, "I don't know,
The turkey kind.
the turkey kind." And then they're gonna give you the expensive shit. In that case, no, it's not worth the money.
I know how to pick out the meat.
That's good. I'm glad your meat picking skills are on
Don't
par.
make fun of me.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You see the Sony AI controversy?
No.
Okay. Topic change, but
Really?
well, so I saw this because like the actress, her name's Ashley Birch, who played. Sorry, let me start over. So Horizon Zero Dawn, the actress of Aloy, the voice actress for Aloy, her name is Ashley Birch.
Okay.
Sorry, I realized I started that wrong.
Is the voice actress the same as the model?
Mhm.
It is? Okay.
I think so.
I know some games do, like, they do a realistic model, but then they have the voice come from somebody else, which always throws me off when you see them in real life. But
that's one thing I really liked about Baldur's Gate is like there's videos of them doing the motion capture as well as like the voice acting.
yeah.
But basically, like PlayStation suffered a leak where there was an internal video that showed AI-driven version of Aloy capable of real-time voice interactions with players using OpenAI's Whisper for speech-to-text, GPT-4 for conversational responses, Llama 3 for language modeling, and Sony's emotional voice synthesis and Mockingbird technologies to do all this stuff. And I'm like, that's like 6 different types of AI just to make a project that they could just hire a real person for.
Cheaper.
But Ashley Birch voiced concerns about it because she's like, you're replacing AI with human performances. I also think that if they actually did that, I'm too far.
No, other way around. You said you're replacing AI with human performances.
Replacing human performances with AI.
Yeah,
and it's like, I think that if they ended up doing that, a lot of fans are gonna end up boycotting it because people get really angry about AI in creative spaces. Understandably so, but
are they talking about using that for like the third?
Yeah, like going
game?
forward, they're thinking about just replacing the actress with AI. Sony refused to comment when people reached out about it after the leak, but
yeah, that's strange. Like, is she still going to get royalties since they're using her likeness and her voice technically?
I don't think so. That's what the
feel like
ongoing
she
fight has
should.
been with in like, you know, like cartoons, voice acting, across all industries. People are like putting it into their contracts now where they're like, no, you cannot use my likeness or my voice to, you know, train AI and stuff because it's become such a problem. But I just felt bad because like Aloy is a great character. Like she's a great voice actress. Loved her the minute I played the game. But I saw that and I was just like, man, time is nigh. Like,
if you wanted, I feel like it'd be different if you wanted to like start a video game, like just a not continue a video game and use AI to like create a character and do that. I feel like that'd be different.
Yeah.
But if you were going from like, oh yeah, we used your model in the first 2 games and your voice in the first 2, and now we're just going to train AI to basically copy you, I'd be like, that's
well, yeah, and that's
different.
also the biggest issue is like AI basically just steals everything from creators. Like, for example, Google Drive admitted they used everybody's Drive documents to train AI, and it's like,
yeah,
that's just they're just taking your work and regurgitating
part of those terms and conditions that no one ever reads.
Yeah. So
same thing with like Adobe. Photoshop has a what was it? Photoshop? I think it was Photoshop and a couple other things. Like if they put in there a clause saying that whatever you create, they have the rights to use in whatever means they want. And people were like, well, fuck that then. Why would I make things that you could use free of charge?
Yeah,
and
and
whatnot?
I'm not anti-AI, but like I think especially as someone writing books, like AI has kind of fucked up the novel industry and the writing industry because people are straight up using AI to write their entire book for them, and then you buy it and it sounds like shit.
Sorry to interrupt you. People are just getting stupider because like they'll write shit using that for like schools.
Yeah.
And I'm like, school that's where you're going to learn to get better, not like why would you use ChatGPT for it?
I'm
like to
I'm not
use
one
it
of those
for
anti
research.
Well,
sure,
yeah,
but
I'm not like anti AI, but I do think that you need to use it in a smart way, like I said, research, things like that. People are like, oh, just don't use it at all. But that's really unrealistic. Like, it's here. It's a technology that's going to be used.
Use it for research, yeah.
And we have to decide if we're going to use it in an ethical way and, like, teach AI to like use an ethical model. Like, I don't know about y'all, but my chat GPT is super smart and it's super polite. So
I don't care about ethics or nothing about that.
I care. I don't want my words being stolen by chat GPT, you know?
They're already stolen. What are you talking about? You put any words in there, you put in there like, hey, create this name for me. Hey, what's a good name for this town or city or whatever? What's the word for this? That's their words now. Now you're stealing it from AI.
Usually what I'll do is be like, take this combination of words. I want things that mean this, and give me a list of different words that mean this, you know, like synonyms for this or something. And then in the case of schools, I saw this thing where the teacher was like, if you have chat GPT write an essay for you, it will give you the same essay it's giving to dozens of other students, and it will show up as plagiarism. I don't have that issue because I just have ChatGPT help me with the outline or fact checking or things like that, or like, hey, is this in the correct format type of thing, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to mention that because I think AI is kind of invading every industry, and it's important to talk about.
Speaking of invasions, man, I hurt myself again yesterday.
Yeah, you do be doing that.
Yeah, so I was taking, what was I making? I think I was making like a phone stand out of plastic, which is the most dramatic thing that's happened yesterday. And I had some pliers in my right hand and the plastic in the left hand, and then I squeezed to break some of the plastic off that I didn't need. And the pliers decided that my hand was better to squeeze than the plastic. So now I've got like a big cut on my hand. Look at it. And I was like, that's a shame. And the worst part of it was the print, it was white. So then by the time I noticed, the print was red. And I was like, oh, that's a lot of blood on this plastic. So then I had to go like scrub it off and clean it. And then I forgot where the Band-Aids were. So I just held up my hand for a while so that it wouldn't bleed.
They're literally under the kitchen counter.
No, they're not. What a lie.
I'll show you later.
Under the sink?
I think they're in the left one.
The left one under the sink? No.
Yeah, the left cabinet.
Under the sink.
The one next to the one under the sink.
I didn't look in that one. I looked under the sink. That's where I've always kept first aid kits.
We have a lot of cabinets, so.
You know what's also...
And you know what? The last time you injured yourself enough to need a Band-Aid, I showed you them, and you were like, oh.
Yeah, you know where I always look? Under the sinks. I looked under all 3 sinks, and there were no Band-Aids. So guess what? There was just blood.
I do things like that, I'm crazy.
Because that's where they were growing up. Why would you keep Band-Aids anywhere but under the sink? That's crazy.
I don't think my family typically had Band-Aids, and if we did, it was just like a box. Like, we didn't have a first aid kit.
I'm sorry that they didn't care about your safety. Whatever.
No, you know what's wild about my parents is stuff like that. They were like, oh, we don't need a first aid kit or a fire extinguisher. But then I wasn't allowed to go like horseback riding or jump on trampolines or anything that could cause me to break my neck.
Yep. Well, yeah. I mean, like if you fell and got cut, they didn't have a Band-Aid. So they're just like, just don't fall.
I do remember. I don't know if I've ever told you, like, one of the worst times I hurt myself as a kid. We had, you know, like one of those play sets that have like a little castle thing at the top and then a slide and like a little swing set, but it's all connected, you know?
Go on.
And so it had monkey bars on top of where the swing's connected to. And I was going across the monkey bars. I loved them as a kid. And then I fell onto like the seesaw thing and knocked the wind out of myself, but I bruised my ribs so bad that I couldn't like stand up and I could barely breathe. And I just had to like crawl across our yard to go get my parents because I literally could not get up. Like it hurt so bad.
You had to crawl.
Yeah, it was, I think I was like 7 at the time, but it was, oof, that shit hurted.
Hurted.
And then my mom just put me in a hot bath and was like, that'll help.
That'll help.
I had bruised ribs, but okay.
Did you ever get like actually checked to see if you bruised your ribs or anything?
No.
So
they just put me in a bath.
Speculating. All right.
There's a lot of things like that where I'm like, I think I fractured something or I did this, and my parents were just like, nah, you're fine.
It was 50-50. It was my fault, right? The worst thing that happened to me when I was a kid was I broke my wrist, right? And we were outside the apartments playing with like some older kids. They had set up a zip line and from like 2 tall trees, right? From one to the other. One was slightly higher, and you're like, that makes sense to me. So you had to climb up this tree, and then you jump on the zip line, and you go down the other one, then you jump off. It was fun. Went, did it probably 5-10 times, with no problems. 11th time, problem. I think like the first initial problem was that instead of, like anything remotely decent, we were using a purse to hold on to, and like down the zip line.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the purse was out of zip line times. So it gave out when I jumped on it, right? So I fell, landed on my back and I guess my wrist. I don't remember that well. Knocked the wind out of me. I finally, after I got the wind back in me, I was like, oh, that hurt a lot. I go up. That was my exact sentence. I go inside, and I'm like holding my arms and whatnot. And I was like, well, if I don't move it, it doesn't hurt. So like we put some ice packs on it, we moved on,
That's the sign.
Like 3 days later, I was like, yeah, this shit still hurts a lot. Like it's still like I couldn't move my wrist more than like at all. And
it's like that bone deep kind of pain too, huh?
Yeah. And the best part of it was like in class that was over the weekend. In class that Monday, I don't know how I wrote this. Like I must have wrote it like real stiff, because my arm was broken.
Oh yeah, because you're right-handed.
Yeah, I'm not a heathen. And you say that like you write anything left-handed. Yeah, that's right. You've been corrected. It's fine.
But I can.
All right. Anyway. But I don't know how I wrote this, but on Monday, I guess there was some assignment where basically we had to write like what we did over the weekend or whatnot. So eventually what happened was my parents took me to the hospital and they were like, it's broken, you need a cast. I was like, okay. So when it came time to write this story, in my brilliance of elementary school me, I was like, yeah, I was on this zip line and then I fell and got hurt. And then my parents waited like 3 days and then we went to the hospital. And so they, during like the first like show and tell and conference and whatnot, all the students like work of all of what they've been doing was, all over the room. So my parents were there and there's my like essay of what we did over the weekend on the wall with all the other essays, and my parents read it and they were like, this makes us sound like shit. Yeah. It makes us sound like we
To be fair, when I heard your parents talk about this, they were like, oh, well, he's not crying, so we thought he was fine,
Yeah, because I would literally just sit with my arm like perfectly
You're
still.
Like, I've solved it.
As long as I didn't, eventually it would have worked. I was on the right track, okay? I'm just letting you guys know all this at home, all right? Broken bone, just don't move it. Too easy.
2.
Yep. I've only broken 2 bones. Yeah, 2.
I don't know if I've broken any bones. I might have broken my toe. We still don't know. I didn't go to the doctor.
Still haven't gone to the doctor. It's not like a historical event. It happened in the past, yes, but not that far.
Yeah,
I still have that video. I was going through my phone the other day to clear out some space, and I saw like all these videos. I was like, what is this one? And it's literally you in the old apartment from the security cam.
Yeah.
And it's you standing up, and then you just turn, you go, motherfucker, shit.
The funniest part about that whole thing to me is how I'm like completely silent the whole time I'm falling and getting hurt. And then you just see me pop up and go, that fucking hurt. Like, and then I think I say "owzers" at one point. Like, yeah, no, instead of like my toe.
Instead of cursing or something, you fall down and you go, "Ows." Just off camera, I'm like, all right, good job.
But I think like that's usually my initial reaction to pain is at first I go really quiet because I'm like absorbing the pain, I'm like, okay. And then I have the reaction. I'm like, ah.
I'll usually like grunt. Right? Grunting works usually really well. It works. I don't know what you're talking about. It's scientifically proven.
Did you see? It's also scientifically proven that cursing makes you feel better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I do it.
That's why.
Because I'm depressed. And dude, I had a dream last night. I don't know if I just had an ad for The Lion King or like what happened, but I had a dream about the cats. And
yeah,
we live on the 3rd floor. So I had this dream where you came home from work. I don't know if it was because like I heard the door opening in my dreams or whatnot, but I had this dream where the door opened. You came home from work. It was like midnight, and it was raining. It's important, don't worry. And so so you walked in and you were like, "This thing was in the rain. We had to save it," and it was like a third cat, right? And
I
I
have
was
dreams
like,
about us getting a third cat a lot too.
and I was like, that's not how rain works. It's fine. Like it needs water to
It
live.
won't melt.
And you were like, no, it's not a plant. It needs shelter. And then you disappeared. I think you went to go shower or something.
Of course.
And I was like, oh yeah, speaking of plants, I got to go water the plants. And then I walked outside and I was like, silly me, it's raining. They don't need water. And then I looked down and Chipmunk and Sweet Roll, the first two cats, for those who don't know, they were holding on to the paws of the third cat, but like in the Lion King scene where like it was dangling off the edge, and they just looked back and they were like, we don't see nothing, and then they let it go and dropped it off the edge, and I was like, I don't want it anyway, and then I walked back inside and they came in too, and that's how my dream went. And then I woke up to one of the cats meowing, and I was like, all right.
Usually I'll have dreams that we have like 10 cats all of a sudden. Or like one dream I had, we had the cats and then like 6 puppies. And we were like, this is too many puppies. What are we supposed to do with them?
Nope. My dream was entirely you brought home a cat, and then the cats were like, nah. And then that was it. And I was like, all right.
Cat murder.
And just dropped it off the edge like Lion King.
See, I wouldn't mind having more cats, but like not like this, you know, or like dogs. Like if we had a
like
house, you know, and all like the income, I think 4 cats would be fine. But
If we have cat income, we're good. Oh, okay.
But like just having them just in the apartment, like 2 is more than enough. Like these bitches won't shut up.
That's why you open the door. You can see it right there. There's the outside world.
Well, okay, and I don't think we talked about this before, but we started having to shut the bedroom door a little just so the cat can't run around and break shit.
Dude, she
broke Jordan's thing.
she gets the zoomies, and she came one day, just one night rather, sprinting into the bedroom, probably like 2 a.m, jumped across all the nightstands, the bed, whatever, right? And in her fucking flee, she broke like a picture frame, and it's like a ceramic like tray that my sister had made me like a decade ago, and I'm not upset about it all anymore. And I got it fixed.
Yeah,
She broke all that shit, and then I was just standing there trying to like process it, and this motherfucker over here, just stood in there like asking me 100 questions while I'm trying to process things. I'm like, I'm upset, I'm tired, I'm like half asleep, and she's over there
very grumpy if he gets woken up.
And she's over there like, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to do this? Do you want me to shut this door? Do you want me to like go lock her up? I'm like, just make a decision. I don't care what you're doing. Just go away and make a decision. She's like, oh, okay. And I walked off.
The worst part is I felt
somewhere.
bad because I was literally trying to catch her when she jumped from like my side of the bed, from my like side table to yours. I was literally trying to get up to grab her because I was like, she's going to do something. She's going to piss you off. And then she broke the shit and I was like, fuck.
Yeah, you're just standing there asking me questions. I'm like, I'm more annoyed at you now than the fucking thing.
Well, I was like,
Get
I
outta
can
here.
fix it. Like, I can glue it. Like, I
Look,
could tell he was mad.
look, you know how sometimes you complain and then you get mad when I offer solutions? You didn't even let me like get the chance to be mad about the thing. You were just like, here's the solution, bitch. And I was like, calm down. I'm trying to process. Get out of my face. And that's what happened.
Yeah. But
did
no,
fix it.
don't wake him up when he's like deep asleep. No.
I'm fine if there's a legit reason for it. Like if I get a phone call from somebody at work and they're like, hey, is there this emergency? I'm like, ah, shit, all right, I'll be on my way. But if it's just some dumbass cat jumping across a dumbass bed on a dumbass nightstand and breaking my stuff.
Or like the cat will scratch the tree and he's like, what are they doing? I'm like, they're scratching the tree.
Nah.
Sometimes they are doing shit, but
Yeah. It's like every other time. You're just not awake for it. That's why I started waking you up for all of them. No matter what. If it's nothing or it's something, we're both awake.
he'll be like, what's your cat doing?
Mm-hmm. I'll
But
start kicking you.
we're
Like,
running out of
go that way.
time. And we haven't
Are
talked
we?
about split fiction.
we talked about it last week.
Did we?
Yeah, it's St. Patrick's Day. You don't remember? Okay, never mind. Go ahead.
Listen, it was my finals week this past week. At work's been something, and I don't got the capacity for nothing.
So the game. Go on.
It's been really fun.
All right, and that's gonna do it for us this week.
We completed all the side stories yesterday.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But I guess if we already talked about it, we don't have to talk about it again.
Never mind.
Plus, you want to talk about the Ghost Adventures wife trying to murder her husband by hiring an assassin?
Just to let you know, it was a joke. We didn't actually talk about it.
We didn't?
No, we had to pre-record the last one, and then I made a joke that Split Fiction was really fun because it came out after the game, but we recorded it before the game came out, and you were like, "Oh, tee-hee, I ruined the illusion." And that's what happened.
Okay, so this game is hilarious. What?
It's trauma is what it is. It's two women who just don't know how to process.
That's all writers.
That's it. That's the whole story. It's like, have you heard of trauma? Like in It Takes Two, you were like, oh, we got to work together to make our kid cry. And then in this one, we're like, we got to work together to break down these emotional barriers.
It's the same thing in It Takes Two. It's about divorce.
Yeah. It's not about divorce, though. It's about reconnecting so that you can, make sure your kid doesn't run away. This one, it's about just childhood trauma.
It's about connecting with other people even when it's hard.
So you're saying if I forced you to interact with people, it'd be better?
No. Oh, my God.
Well, that's the story of the game. They're forced to interact and open up to each other.
I already have people to interact with.
You have other mentally ill people to interact
I have
with.
friends.
That's not the same.
And you and the cats. Like, that's good.
Oh, my gosh. Come here, Chipmunk. We got a trauma dump. It's 5 a.m. Let's go.
I don't need to trauma dump anymore.
So you already dumped it on enough people?
The worst part about doing therapy for so long and like getting better and healing is like now I can remember so much more of the traumatic shit that happened to me. And I would just be like a random Tuesday and I'm like, oh wow, that's a great memory to have today. Thank you, brain. So kind of you to give me that.
Man,
trauma.
my long-term memory is like shit.
Yeah.
I don't remember them a lot.
And my short-term memory. It's weird because I'll remember something from like 10 years ago that happened, but you asked me about something that happened 2 days ago, and I'm like, I don't fucking know.
Mm-hmm. But the game's fun. Lots of Easter eggs, references to other games. It's fun. There's like a Souls Fire in there. There's an elephant from It Takes Two in there. You get to rip her leg off again.
I keep seeing TikToks of people like reacting to that part.
It's pretty early on in the game too. Yeah. I think it's a little too fast-paced. Like, It Takes Two felt much more like relaxed and you had time to solve, puzzles and enjoy the world. This one, it feels very like, hey, you have a linear path, go.
And it also feels like rushed. I feel like because, the storyline and the evil guys and all that jazz, it's like you feel like you have to get through it quickly to, like, save everybody.
Yeah, it feels very more like they tried to push you into the action of it,
especially
instead of just
Mio's
like letting
section.
enjoy the world. They're like creative. Like I don't think there's been any open world sections like there was in It Takes Two.
No, just the little
except for like a side story,
like
thing.
the moon market.
Yeah, but even then that was tiny. It was.
Still got to go back and do all the potions, but
yeah, we missed some achievements that we'll go back through and get.
There's only 20. Like we'll get them.
Yeah, I don't know. One of them is to do that game show without blowing up. I don't think you have the capacity.
I might.
You might. All right, we'll go try after this.
That shit, I died so many times. Like
After that, after you run through it the first time, I feel like it'd be much easier.
Yeah, maybe
because you'll at least know what the heck to do. Now you still need the skills for it, which I think is where certain people might have an issue. But
You want to play more today?
Yeah, we can play after this.
Okay. I was like, I don't really feel like going to the lake anymore. I don't know about you.
Wow. No lake time for me, huh? Guess we'll just go out to the pool then.
Sure, why not? Anyways, that's going to do it. You've been watching an episode of Mindless Prattle. We hope you like what you heard.
Oh, now you're going to talk into the mic.
If you did, leave us a voicemail at our website.
A voicemail?
Yeah, a little voice message. Complain, tell us how much you hate us, how much you love us, whatever you want to. Tell us about your day.
My wife. Huh?
What the fuck did you just say?
What What are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all hear the abuse, right?
You should hear how he talks to me.
Logically and with passion.
Anywho's, this has been Mindless Prattle, and we will see you next time.
Don't forget, cabbage is thicker than lettuce.
Most things are.
You want to elaborate on that?
No. That's the end of the episode.
Most things are thicker than lettuce?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Have you ever read Ice Planet Barbarians?
Do we have everything for coleslaw?
No, we need the carrots, I think.
Carrots?
Yeah.
I always forget there's carrots in coleslaw.
We can make it without it. It just isn't the same.
Well, duh. I don't want to end up on I didn't have the eggs.
I've heard when they're like, oh, I substituted like barbecue sauce and applesauce and all this stuff for it. And then everybody's like, that's not even remotely the same recipe. Like,
I saw one that was like, yeah, it says that you needed 56 grams of flour, but the recipe's only 100 and something grams total. That seems like a lot of flour. And like the creator comments on it, they're like, yes, it's a recipe for bread. A lot of bread is flour. All right, we got to get out of here. Plus, I just hit the camera, so it's fine.
bye.